Roger Stone was an advisor to Donald Trump's presidential campaign. He was a longtime associate and business partner of Paul Manafort's, and he joins us tonight. Roger, thank you for coming on. What is this about, the imprisonment of Paul Manafort?
Well, it's about pressuring Manafort to plead guilty so that the government doesn't have to go to trial. It's interesting that the government refuses to turn over to Manafort in discovery any information gleaned through surveillance. In fact, they insist that he was never under surveillance, not prior to the Trump campaign, not during the Trump campaign, even though numerous mainstream media organizations have reported otherwise. That's because he was most likely subject to an illegal, unconstitutional FISA warrant. According to the New York Times, I was also subject to a FISA warrant in June of 2016, reported by the Times on January 20th, 2016. I've just filed Freedom of Information Act requests to get to the bottom of that.
Well, wait a second. If the New York Times can discover that you're being spied upon by the government, why can't you ascertain whether that's happening or not?
Well, there's a process. First, you have to put in a governmental information request. Once the government's had a certain amount of time to respond, then you can file a lawsuit, both a tort suit and a suit against individuals, say John Brennan, Susan Rice, and others, Mr. Clapper. And I intend to do that. But in the meantime, Tucker, it's become abundantly clear that having come up empty-handed of any evidence of Russian collusion, having no proof of any hijinks with WikiLeaks, because I received nothing from them and passed nothing on, it's now abundantly clear that the special counsel seeks to go through every aspect of my personal, business, and political life to try to conjure up some offense to pressure me to testify against the president. It's Orwellian. It's the police state. I'm being persecuted because I supported Donald Trump.
But let me just back up for a second. We're often told that the bar for a FISA warrant is really high. I mean, you have to demonstrate that someone is, in effect, betraying his country. What would be the pretext upon which the Mueller people would have gotten a FISA warrant to spy on you?
Well, in fact, a U.S. citizen can only be subject to a FISA warrant if they're actively involved in espionage on behalf of a foreign power against the United States. Clearly, FISA warrants were used by the Obama administration for political purposes. This is a scandal that makes Watergate look like a second-rate burglary.
Are the people around you getting drawn into this?
That's the extraordinary thing, Tucker. Associates of mine, as many as 12 of them, have been subpoenaed, have been questioned aggressively by the FBI. Some of them are fighting those subpoenas. It's unclear what it is the government wants other than to find somebody who will bear false witness against Roger Stone. It's a witch hunt, and it's a very expensive witch hunt. This is costing me hundreds of thousands of dollars on top of the lawsuits filed against me by the Democratic National Committee and some Obama-affiliated groups. I've had to set up a legal defense fund at stonedefensefund.com, stonedefensefund.com, because it threatens to bankrupt me, which is exactly the point. They seek to drag your name through the mud and to ruin you financially.
So we can't administer a polygraph, obviously, on live television, but just I want to end on this, and for the record, have you ever worked on behalf of any foreign power against the interests of the United States government?
Absolutely, positively not. Look, I am an American whose relatives were crushed in Budapest in the 50s by Russian tanks. This is an absurd notion. And it is an abysmal state of affairs where we have a partisan special prosecutor seeking a crime where none exists.
You better have betrayed the country, or else someone owes you a big apology, I would say. Roger Stone, thank you.